Welcome back to another Pokemon What If Wednesday, where every Wednesday morning we go through last week's investing and collecting questions, where your guys' questions will actually be featured in the video, and one person's question will help me make the thumbnail every single week. So please drop your questions down below for a chance to be in next week's video, and if I did comment to you saying great question, I might use this and I didn't, please drop that same question again and put repeat question. It'll get moved to the top, and even then it's not a guarantee that it will get answered that next week, so please just keep putting your question down below with repeat question, and I promise I'll get to you. And I'm not saying I'm some guru who just knows everything, but when I'm unsure, I always like to talk it out with a few people. It always helps me make my final decision. And before I was a YouTuber, I would sit and ask questions on a bunch of Pokemon YouTubers videos, and you pretty much never would get an answer. So I just wanted to create a space to where anybody can leave a question, and I promise it will get answered. And we do have to give a big thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Collectr. This app is the best of the best when it comes to tracking your collection. No other app even compares. I have actually tried them all. They're always trying to improve by adding new cards, boxes, and features, so let us know down below if there's anything you need them to add or work on. They just added 3 new features, which are all super cool. You can now search by artist, so you can see all the cards. They even added new filters and stuff, so you can do like cards only, and then type in like Charizard or Mewtwo. You could see all your Charizard cards. And then they just added a new trading feature, so you could like put up a box you want to trade for another card or box, and it'll tell you if it's a solid trade or not. So definitely check out all those new features. And then they also do more giveaways than anyone in this hobby. So make sure you follow them on all socials just to have a chance to get some of these awesome boxes they're giving away. And of course, if you're going to grade through PSA, you can click my link in the description and basically get a free graded card. You get $25 off if you use the code BEARD25 at checkout. So definitely check that out. And also, we still got our binder bound merch available. It's only going to be available for another month or so. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. All right, the first question is from @TheXPups. Is the market really crashing? So I have seen so many people make a ton of different videos, market crashing, all this stuff, like literally every day. Now, we're just going to look at some examples of some cards and boxes here. So we got the Bubble Mew EX. This card was $421 in February, and then in the summer, it got down to $290. And right now, got up to $700, and right now it's at $534. So as you can see, looking at that chart, that's a pretty similar looking chart. And there was not a ton of people in the summer saying market crash, market crash. There's a few creators like myself that were saying there's going to be a little market dip because there usually is in the summer. People are just busy and they're spending money elsewhere. But let's check another card. We got the Greninja EX. So this got up to $405, $410, got down to $268, back up to $380, and now last sold $307, $295, $350. And Pikachu, this card was $485, got down to $253, back up to $351, and right now last sold all at $300, a couple sales at $290 and $281. And we even have the Charizard EX. Look at that chart, $287, down to $188, back up to $303, and right now it's at $242, so it's not even coming down nearly as much as it did in the summer. And you got to think, we had the whole illustration rare boom kind of in the summer. So there was like no talk of like market crashes in the summer, but we had all these big cards dropping. And then we'll even check a couple steel products. A lot of the stuff that was going down right away, like the Celebrations ETBs, bouncing back a little bit already. All last sales are like $230, $240 now. Even Paldean Fates doing a little bounce back. Got down to $230, now last sold $250, $245, another one at $250. And then like even Surging Sparks, the one set that has a ton of reprints, got down to $214, now last sold $236, $220, $245, $220. See, I don't think the market is crashing. I think it's much more of a correction, which was heavily needed. We've never had in Pokemon history where every new booster box was over $200 or even over $150 or even $130. Like, this is just uncharted territory. So I think it's actually a good sign. And hopefully stuff will get even a little bit cheaper to where we can start making some decent plays, because I know a lot of people have been waiting. And then too, if you got to think, if it was free falling and the market was crashing, Journey Together would just be dropping so fast. Shroud and Fable would be dropping fast, and they're not really dropping that fast. And then I've also seen a ton of people talk about how card shows are slower now. And in my opinion, the only reason the card shows are getting slower is because there's so many card shows going on right now. It's just absolutely crazy. We've never had so many card shows. It's a massive problem in Minnesota right now, to where if someone is having a card show, it's almost guaranteed there's going to be at least 2 or 3 other card shows going on that exact same day within a 30 or 50 mile radius, to where that guarantees that no one is going to have that packed show anymore. So I just think there's way too many card shows. And then you got to think there's more vendors than ever. So, if people are struggling to sell at a show or, having to give good deals or whatever, I genuinely think it's just because there's so many vendors, there's so much competition, there's so many card shows, and now, it's all split up that they don't have as many customers. Which is one of the main reasons why I'm going to start traveling for a lot of shows. A lot of shows are hitting me up to come vend there at, towns or like cities that are not as big, that they don't have card shows every single weekend or collecticons constantly. You got to think a lot of these big shows like Collecticon, it is so expensive to even just get in the doors. And if you want to go get an autograph or do anything. So, there's probably 2 other free shows going on at that same time that you can go get a bunch of cards or whatever and get in for free. So I really feel like that's a big problem. And then too, there's like VIP entry. There's just so many little things that you can spend money before you even get into the doors now for these card shows that I really feel like it's hurting it. I actually just had my busiest show that I've ever vended at last weekend in Columbus, Ohio at their big XL show. And that's because they don't have, 4 shows every single weekend. This was their big show. So, I was busy the entire time. I was so tired at the end of the show just from walking back and forth. And then I got 2 tables. So like someone needed stuff down there and they got to walk 15 feet back the other way, back and forth. But like I said, it was crazy. I've never been so busy. So I actually do hope the market does cool off a little bit. And then some of these card shows will start disappearing and we'll start getting back to our legit card shows to where you don't have to, decide on which card show to go to because there's 4 different ones all in the same weekend. But all right, next question is from at NGHU004. Paldean Fates is one of the highest priced booster bundles in the Scarlet and Violet era, very close to 151. Is it a good pickup at the current price given that it's seen printed a lot less than 151? So I've always been a little sketched out by Paldean Fates because our Hidden Fates and Shiny Fates sets are literally some of the most printed and like reprinted sets we've ever gotten in Pokemon history. So I just can't see a world where Pokemon doesn't do a couple big massive reprints for Paldean Fates. Now, Paldean Fates is getting pretty old, to be honest. Got up to about $108, down to $92, coming up a couple dollars right now, all at about $95 to $99. So I don't know, this one's a little sketchy for me. In my opinion, I'd probably wait for a reprint for this and hopefully it dips down and then probably try to buy it then. I'm just sketched out with Fate sets. Next is from at Jeb. Dear Bearded Baddie, I'm a big fan of the Gengar from 151 and Costco just came out with a 4-pack mini tin bundle. In there is a Cosmos Hollow version of that Gengar. While I typically like raw cards, it seems like a cool card to be slabbed both for personal and for investment. I'm thinking of picking up a few to grade. Curious of your thoughts. So if you guys did not know, the Hollow cards from 151 are worth a decent amount of money in a 10. We have the Gengar here, a basic Hollow. You guys probably have a bunch of these sitting in your house right now. Sold for $152 on auction from Z&G Emporium in a PSA 10. We have another set at $132. Japanese one for $20. And do we have any more? We got another one here for $125. But I think this is one of the coolest cards. I think it would be super cool if you could get the Ghastly and Haunter all sequential for the 151 set. I know you're talking about the new Cosmos Hollow, but I think it'd be cool if you had the Cosmos Hollow in a 10 and the actual regular Hollow from 151 with the Haunter and Ghastly, all PSA 10s. I think that'd be a super cool little collection. But I love the background on that card. Next is from at BaltoTCG. Hi Beard, what is the best booster box to buy right now with some of these prices from Scarlet and Violet being pretty high in the first 1 to 2 years? So I have not been buying a ton of booster boxes on the secondary market. If I do buy any, it's usually Sword and Shield stuff, and they have to be extremely minty. I've actually been very lucky, and I've been able to get all of my Scarlet and Violet era booster boxes at MSRP or less, and I get a sealed case now every time, plus a few loose ones. So it helps to make connections, make friends, go to your card shows. You never know, they might give you a good deal. But right now, looking at all the Scarlet and Violet era booster boxes, if I had to pick a couple of them, because you just wanted to buy one right now, Surging Sparks is basically one of the cheapest ones, and Surging Sparks is one of the best sets that we got in the Scarlet and Violet era, so that probably isn't terrible, which I think we have another question here talking about Surging Sparks soon. Mega Evolution, I think some people are sleeping on the Mega Evolution era, in my opinion. Plus, the Enhanced Booster Box with that Bulbasaur, only the second ever Enhanced Booster Box. Even Journey Together's Enhanced Booster Box is kind of cool. The first Enhanced Booster Box that we got in the Scarlet and Violet era. And Destined Rivals 385, that's holding really strong. That's pretty expensive though. And then if we jump to Sword and Shield, I feel much more comfortable buying some Sword and Shield booster boxes, to be honest, because at least that these are not going to get massive reprints. So that's probably where I would start. And then you're going to be so thankful in a couple years when these boxes really start to get old And, everybody's only got Mega Evolution and some Scarlet and Violet, and you got some Sword and Shield stuff. So I'd probably stick with Sword and Shield. Brilliant Stars is not bad at all. And I feel like it's one of the most slept on sets in the entire Sword and Shield era. Even Silver Tempest. I know Fusion Strike is so expensive, but technically, set-wise, I think like Brilliant Stars and Silver Tempest are better all-around sets because they have the Trainer Gallery cards. So yeah, I'm a big fan of both of those sets for sure. All right, next question is from Lil Zendaya. Hey Beard, I'm thinking of buying an Evolving Skies booster box. Is now the time or should I wait for a couple months? So since a lot of stuff is starting to dip down in price a little bit, I'd probably hold a little longer. A ton of people were buying this box at $2,400, $2,500. Now last sold $21, $2,050 with a case, $2,250, $2,300, $2,150. So I think anything under 2K, you'd probably be fine, to be honest, especially, you're holding long term. It's one of the best sets we've ever gotten. Next is from Meteor. Oh, great and knowledgeable Beard. Can you help me understand why Surging Sparks has the cheapest booster box in the Scarlet and Violet generation? I understand the dislike for the crowns, but didn't think it was that bad of a set. It's not that bad of a set at all. It's just the set we've gotten like the most reprints for technically. So it's going to only be natural for it to come down in price. Like I said before, it's not a bad set at all. It's definitely one of the best sets we've gotten in the Scarlet and Violet era. It's just that we've gotten a good amount of reprints of Surging Sparks compared to everything else in the Scarlet and Violet era, especially the ETBs. I mean, the ETBs are some of the cheapest along with Twilight Masquerade. But yeah, that's pretty much the only reason why, is because we got some decent reprints. Next is from Blue Kidastic. Mr. Pokey of the Beard, what do you think of the Chinese 151 exclusive Pikachu as an investment? So I'm a massive fan. If you guys did not know, I love all the Chinese exclusives. And I am getting a lot of the cheaper ones now because if they do go down in price, they're not going to drop a crazy amount. I'm not going to lose a crazy amount. I am waiting for the big ones. So here is the 151 Gengar Pikachu. Last sold in a PSA 10, $1,265, $1,275, $1,330, $1,513. And here's what it was in August and September. $3,200, $3,300, $3,250. We got October 14th here at $3K. So they are coming down in price. So I'm waiting on all the 151 Pikachus. And then here we even have the Chinese Psyduck one with Pikachu and Dragonite in the background. Now last sold in a 10, $660, $635, $637. And it was selling for $1,800, $1,400, $1,300, $1,200. Now, be extremely careful buying these Chinese cards. I have seen so many fakes. Even just looking through like eBay sold listings, I've seen a couple fakes in there that sold from like okay sellers. So you have to be careful, please. But like I said, I am collecting every single Chinese exclusives. I'm just starting off with the cheaper ones. They're just a little bit safer. Next is from Julio Palikios. Butchered that. Hey Beard, what are your thoughts on the Alakazam promo from Mega Evolutions ETB? In my opinion, it is crazy cheap, whether it be Pokemon Center or not. That's one of my favorites, Pokemon Center ETB promos we've gotten so far, or regular ETB promos. And if you look at all the promos, Alakazam, definitely one of the most popular Pokemon we've gotten so far. So yeah, I am going to buy hundreds of these cards when it gets cheap. I mean, it's already $5, $6. I have a feeling it might get even a little bit cheaper than that. I could see this card at maybe $2, $3, $4. And then here's the Pokemon Center one, still coming down. I did buy one. It's super minty for like $90 or $100 at Card Party. The only reason I bought it is because it was super minty, but it was at $111. Now last sold $58, $59, $60, $75, $93. So we can get it shipped right now from a good seller for $60. That is not bad at all. I could see it maybe getting down to like $40-ish. And, if it does, I'm definitely going to get quite a few. But even at $60, I agree. I don't think that's bad at all, comparing it to the other Pokemon Center promos. Next is from Thomas VMAX. Hey, Beard, as a collector, I'd love to know your favorite non-chase expensive SIR, IR from the Scarlet and Violet era. Specifically, just the arts that you think should be the chase of the set. I'd also love to know who your favorite artist is. So my favorite artist is Arita. That's the guy who did the original base set Charizard. He also just did that new Mega Absol, which is just fire. He does a ton of cards in Pokemon. Definitely check him out. All right, we're going to run through a couple cards here. We got the Chen Pao EX from Paldean Evolved. Love this special illustration. I love like the snowy cards. And I love Chen Pao. I had a silver Bengal cat who passed away. Best cat I've ever had. I still miss her to this day, but they revealed Chen Pao probably like a month after she passed away. And with her being a silver Bengal cat, it kind of really reminded me of her. So I love this card. Next, we have the Salamence EX, kind of a more expensive card, but I think this is one of the cleanest special illustration rares we've gotten in the entire Scarlet and Violet era. I mean, it looks like a painting. The flames look epic. Some of the best flames we've ever gotten on a card, also in my opinion. Beautiful sky. I mean, the card is just sick. And we got a couple illustration rares. We got the Phanpy from Surging Sparks. A little cartoony, but I still love it. Next, we have the new Flygon. If you guys did not know, the Flygon has all the evolutions in the card. There's quite a few Pokemon in here. Very clean, very realistic looking. Next, we got the Dugong. I love like the Aurora Lights and stuff and Northern Lights. Those are some of my favorite things in like the real world. And I love the snow, ice stuff, and Dugong is just so nostalgic. And then we got the Sock illustration rare from White Flare. I love fighting Pokemon. I'm still waiting for my Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan cards. I really hope they get special illustration rares and like a super cool fighting set. But I love this realistic art style. And we have the Dino here. I mean, just check how cute that card is. Again, very realistic looking arts. Those are definitely my favorite styles. The Steelix, I think this is the coolest Steelix card we've ever gotten. Again, really mean looking, you know, realistic. And the Heracross, super clean, beautiful card. I love Heracross, and I like how this one looks like a painting. So those are just some of my favorite cards from the Scarlet and Violet era that are on the cheaper end. All right, next is from @3J Spangle. Hey, Redbeard the Pirate, I remember you saying that you have a coin collection. I also love collecting modern and antique Asian coins. What are some of your favorite US and world coins you like to collect? Show some off if you can, please. So all my coins are in storage, but my most nostalgic coins are my 2-cent and my 3-cent coins that my dad first gave me, and that's what started me with collecting, because it just blew my mind that, you know, I never even heard of a 2-cent or 3-cent coin, and then just holding a 2-cent coin that was worth, you know, I don't remember, like $30, $40 at the time, just absolutely blew my mind. And that's when me and my dad got really obsessed in collecting all the US printed coins. But yeah, I should definitely pull that out soon next time I go to the storage unit. It's been a while since I looked at them. But right next is from @Investable. Hey Beard, what if we're all wrong and the Pokemon Company decides they are done after the 10th generation of Pokemon? It seems like they are running out of ideas. Good way to end with 30th anniversary and 10th generation. Would everything crash? That's impossible because they make billions and billions and billions of dollars off of Pokemon, and they wouldn't just stop doing that and just not make any money. So yeah, that will never happen. Even if Pokemon crashes and Pokemon isn't doing good, Pokemon will never stop printing. There's a reason we have not gotten a new evolution in a very long time. Like, I can almost guarantee you that I will pass away before we get every single evolution typing. Like, they know what they're doing for sure. All right, next is from Hella Strong. Oh, great oracle of bearded overgrowth, choose your question. Which gen deserves a 30th anniversary and why? I really hope it's Gen 2. Otherwise, Gen 3 would be absolutely epic too. But I think Gen 2 has some of the best like legendary Pokemon, and I feel like they don't really get a ton of love. So I'd love some Gen 2. Otherwise, Gen 3, Groudon, Kyogre, which I think it is going to be Gen 3 from one of the leaks that I've seen. Not 100% sure on that, but I think it might be like a Ruby and Sapphire theme thing, which if it is, that's sweet, but I'm going to be pretty salty they just jumped right over Generation 2. And I do get Generation 2 is one of like the smallest generations, but still, like I said, it's got like some of the best legendaries we've ever gotten. And they're honestly some of the most popular Pokemon. All right, next is from @Monaloo. Hey, Blue Eyes Bearded Dragon. I love it. I sold all 3 of the big hits from Fusion for around $3K. I want to invest it into either Sun and Moon, Black and White, or Diamond and Pearl booster boxes, but which would you go for? So I'd probably go with Sun and Moon, just because it's definitely probably the most popular out of the 3. It probably has the most collectors out of the 3. You know, there's not a ton of people collecting Black and White booster boxes or Diamond and Pearl booster boxes just because they're so expensive. And, you know, if they weren't there at that time opening it up, they're probably not going to be nostalgic to it. And all these newer people that joined in the hobby in the last couple of years will probably never get into, you know, Black and White and Diamond and Pearl sets unless they get really, really into it and they want to get all these older sets. But I know a lot of these newer people at least know of the Sun and Moon era because of the tag teams. So I really feel like the Sun and Moon era is probably your best bet. It also has the most popular Pokemon out of all 3 of those eras, in my opinion. Next is from Death to Hope. With AI on the rise, do you think Pokemon will go all in on using AI to create cards? So I don't think so. You know, there's a lot of legit artists that make a lot of beautiful Pokemon cards. I'm sure there will be some artists who cut corners or some who do use AI when they're not supposed to. But I have a feeling they're going to stick to, you know, the original artists doing this stuff for Pokemon. Next is from Lulu Colby. What's the best way to sell a PC ETB case with an extremely faded, I'm talking you can barely read it if at all, label? I mean, if the label's useless, do I need to open the case and sell the PC ETB separately? Thanks again, Beard. So at the bottom of all the Pokemon Center ETB cases, there's another little sticker, which you can look up and it'll kind of tell you what it is and what set it's from. So you don't need to open up the Pokemon Center ETB case. You can also just keep like the listing where you bought it from and just keep all the pictures and stuff from that to where you can show, that's how you bought it and stuff like that. Next is from @Anais88. Hello, Mr. Beard. It seems crazy to me that for the prices of a sealed case of 6 booster boxes, you can buy 7 or 8 individual booster boxes. In my opinion, it's pretty ridiculous and over the top. What are your thoughts on this, and what is your preferred method, individual or sealed case? So starting out right away, definitely get as many loose booster boxes as you can, but I totally get why people do the sealed cases, and that's where I'm at right now, trying to get the sealed cases, because you just don't have space. And you're worried about damaging all these loose booster boxes everywhere, and it's just so nice to stack up, perfectly tight boxes that fit everything perfectly. You don't really have to worry about damaging them because people don't care that much if a case has like a little dent in it or a messed up corner. So I think it's just a convenience thing after a while when you get so many loose booster boxes. But yeah, right away, definitely get as many loose booster boxes as you can. Then down the road, when you're worried about space and storage, then you can start getting cases. All right, next question is from Aaron Torres. You often say that PSA 10 is a short-term commitment. Can you go more in depth generally? What would you consider a short-term commitment? A year, 5 years? I know you have done more research, but it seems they can go pretty high if it's a popular Pokemon. So just know in every generation, there's going to be a handful of cards. Let's say maybe 5 cards that just do absolutely crazy, that beat all expectations. Doesn't matter the pops. They just keep going up and up. They'll go down, but they never go down as much as they did before. And then they go up higher than what they did before. But pretty much every other card will constantly just go up and down right back to where they were. So when I'm talking like a short commitment is, you buy a card when it's at the bottom, when it gets to its high, and let's say it's not one of the most popular cards in the era, that's a great time to sell that card. And, it's going to come back down again in the future. Then you can have a chance to maybe pick it up again cheap, and then you profit in that little bit of money. So that's kind of what I'm talking about when like graded cards are kind of a little bit more short-term commitment. But then, of course, like I said, there's going to be that like 5 crazy cards that just do amazing. We just have to figure out which cards those are. And last on the list, we have Eric Castro 9675. Hey, Beard, somewhat new viewer. I'm trying to decide if it's smart to invest in sealed or singles. I love investing, but I have no clue where to really start. If you were starting over, what would you start with? Sorry if this was asked before. No need to apologize. If you guys are newer, don't be afraid to ask any questions you want. I know it's tough to go back and watch every random What If Wednesday. So if I was starting all over, investing in the sealed, like I was just talking about, is much smarter than singles. When it comes to actually investing, just because every time a booster box or an ETB gets opened up, there's one less in the world, but there's more cards in the world. So, it's a limited product. There's not, unlimited amount of all these boxes and stuff. There's a ton of them, but not unlimited. So if I was starting all over right now, all you need to do is really focus on getting these Pokemon Center drops. Like we just had Ascending Heroes the other day, and it was available for like 4 hours, 5 hours or something like that, a decent amount of time. So that's your best bet, is getting these Pokemon Center ETBs and booster boxes. Because then also those are the 2 best products that you can even get when it comes to sealed investing. So you're doing really good right there if you can just lock in these pre-orders for every new set. Like most people were able to get like 4 Pokemon Center ETBs for the new Ascending Heroes because it was 2 per order. And a lot of people, they'll have like their wife order 2 or their girlfriend order 2 and then they order 2. So most people were able to get like 4 from what I've seen in the comments on a lot of other people's videos and posts. And then 2, you got to try to find out when your Targets, Walmarts restock. It's not that hard. You just got to ask a couple employees and usually they'll tell you. So that way you can at least get some steel products, try to stick to like booster bundles, good collection boxes, ETBs, UPCs, stuff like that. And then just buy a couple and then sit on them. Just know in this weird time, a lot of people think you can just buy it and, it's worth double or triple, which a lot of stuff is. But in normal times, you'd normally buy a product, let's say an ETB for $45 or whatever, $50, and you'd have to wait a minimum of 2 or 3 years for that ETB to double in price, like a minimum. So always keep that in mind, that it can definitely go back to that. And some of this stuff can take, 5 years to really get some decent value, to where after selling fees and everything like that, to where you can double your money. So keep that in mind. So don't go super crazy spending. Just try to get good products. Make sure they're not dented. Really check out the box. And then really just try to take care of your products and keep them really clean. And you'll be doing so good. And then if you want to get into a little bit more collecting, that's where some singles come into play. Otherwise, like investing in really cheap promos when cards are literally 50 cents or $1 and they're worth a good amount in a PSA 10, that's probably your second best investment when it comes to cards. Plus, it's so safe because the promos are so cheap. So those are your best two options. And then if I had to say a third, which I feel like a lot of people don't ever talk about, you guys have to start going to your pre-releases, to your local card stores, playing in the tournament, because you get to open up packs before the set even comes out. You guys get that if you guys open up a pack and you guys pull that chase card a couple weeks before the set comes out and you send it to PSA immediately to get it graded, and if you hit a 10 and you get one of the first cards on the market, their premium is insane. There's a lot of people that do this, but there's a lot of people that don't even think about this. So that is definitely a good option. Plus, you're going to meet a ton of new people, and then you're also going to learn how to play the TCG, and it's just going to open up doors, and you never know what's going to happen. So I definitely suggest doing that also. But all right, that was today's Pokemon What If Wednesday. If you guys like this content, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. If you guys want to support more, check out my Instagram, my TikTok. I also started a Facebook, and then also my YouTube membership is only 99 cents a month. And the binder bound merch, which would be a great Christmas present, and the PSA link. That helps a ton. And also, I had so much fun doing that tier list last Throwback Thursday for the Gardevoir cards. I'm going to go back and do the Charizard tier list this Throwback Thursday tomorrow, so definitely check that out. And then otherwise, I want you guys to have a great day, and if you guys want to watch my last Pokemon Market Monday, which was a pretty good one, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.